Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your March 2019 reading for the first half of March. So we're looking at the 1st through the 15th. Welcome to everyone here. Welcome to any new people and to returners, subscribers, those of you who follow my channel regularly. Thank you so much. Also for those of you who take the time to send in your comments and feedback and support, always appreciated. And to all of my clients out there, regular and new, a big thank you for keeping me always so very busy with personal one-on-one readings. Thank you so much for reaching out. And as most of you who follow me know, if you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, live or recorded, you can get more info and contact details by clicking on the description bar below or the description bar attached to any of the videos I post. You can also go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on the little About button there. Please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I can usually respond to your initial request the same day or the first 24 hours with more info. And scheduling is pretty good too. I do readings full-time 5 to 6 days a week. It is the sum total of what I do, so I work pretty diligently with people's schedules, and I do a wide variety of readings of all different types and lengths and costs in all the main areas of life, love and romance, of course, compatibility, career, work and finance, investment readings, gift readings, and I also do 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at what's coming in your life over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. So a few different things to choose from. So send me an email if you're interested. We'll go from there. So let's move right into this reading. This is for the air sign of Libra for the first half of March 2019. We're looking at the 1st through the 15th. So let's see what's in store for our Librans. Make sure to watch your rising and moon sign videos as well if you know them. They can provide additional clarification. General readings, as most of you know, will always resonate a little differently for everybody watching. All right, Libra, let's see what's in store for you for the first half of March 2019. All right, Libra, we begin with the moon, followed by the Emperor. Next we have the Knight of Swords, followed by Judgment. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and focus for the first half of March is the Seven of Cups. I feel like this lack of clarity, there's definitely a lack of clarity here about a decision or a choice. It feels like some of you are waiting for something or waiting on someone who's undecided. Some of you, it might be you that's undecided. Let's pull some clarification for your overall energy, which is the Seven of Cups, which represents, there is a rather daydreamy, illusionary energy around the Seven of Cups. It can represent kind of having your head in the clouds, fantasizing, daydreaming, considering multiple options, the possibility and potential of what is, because each one of these cups is filled with what represents potential, but only one can be chosen and focused on. It can be a card that sometimes represents not being grounded or practical in what you feel is possible or likely, or just being in kind of the state on what is possible, what is the potential of something, but not really having clarity. That's kind of what I'm getting. Although I think I'm getting two different stories. That one of you, you're not sure what somebody else is going to do in terms of making an offer. Some of you, it might be being undecided yourself as to whether to make an offer and accept an offer. So let's pull some clarifying cards for the Seven of Cups. All right, we have the Hanging Man, which can feel like you're suspended or in limbo, but energies are always moving. Regarding the Knight of Cups, followed by the Four of Wands. So an emotional offer coming in, because Knights often represent something coming in, an offer or an opportunity, something coming into you. They can also represent the speed at which situations move. So the Knight of Cups here, Cups is water energy, and in the tarot, this is the energy of the heart, emotions, feelings, relationships. The Knight of Cups would be riding in, charging on his horse, because he's the Knight of Cups, making an offer of love or emotional support of some kind, a loving offer, an emotional offer, somebody expressing their feelings to you, offering their cup of love or support to you. And the Four of Wands, which is one of the celebratory cards, happy home cards, friends and family, one of the cards associated with weddings or celebratory events of that kind. So I feel like this sense of maybe going back and forth between what is possible and what is not. I feel like for some of you, you are waiting on somebody else, because there's another Knight here, the Knight of Swords coming in, and it looks like he's rather undecided. He's trying to make a decision. And the Emperor clarifies the Moon, which is a card of indecision, perhaps about the Emperor or from the Emperor, which could be an Aries. So some of you might be dealing with an Aries individual or somebody who's manifesting like the Emperor. So it feels like this overall energy for the first half of March is, for some of you, not knowing. You may be waiting, expecting, or hoping for an offer from someone. It doesn't have to be a love and romance offer, although I think for a lot of you, this is the energy of it. You may be waiting for, wanting a marriage proposal, an engagement, moving in together, something of that sort. I feel like for most of you, this is an ongoing situation. It's not anything new or anyone new. And you're considering whether or not this is possible, what the potential of it is. Perhaps you've waited a long time for this. And you feel like, because I get this energy of things coming to a head, I feel like for a lot of you, this is kind of perhaps a do or die situation. If this is a relationship where you have, it could be career, work, and finance for some of you too. It doesn't necessarily have to be love and romance. I think it might be for a lot of you, but for others of you, you may be waiting for this offer in the career or workplace situation of your life. I feel like you've been waiting for it for a while, and things are coming to a head. It's almost like a do or die situation, meaning, not really die, but meaning that underlying this energy of the Seven of Cups, I'm feeling, Libra, is this energy of, okay, if this person doesn't come with this offer now, this offer of marriage, of stability, of whatever it is that you've been wanting, that's going to make you so happy, the celebratory energy, maybe weddings, marriage, a celebration, then I think you're going to be done and move on from this situation. That's what I feel for a lot of you. It feels very specifically oriented. For some of you, maybe a smaller portion of you, this may be you waiting on, being undecided, maybe keeping yourself and somebody else in limbo about whether you want to make this offer or accept an offer that's already come in. But for many of you, I feel like you're waiting for it. I feel like you've made your position clear and you're waiting for this. But you've been waiting for a long time, and it's kind of, fish or cut bait time. That's what I'm getting. Now, we have the Moon clarified by the Emperor, maybe around the first week or so of March, end of February, first week or so of March. The Moon can represent a path that's somewhat cloudy. It doesn't have a lot of clarity. Things look very different under the light of the Moon than they do under the light of the Sun. Under the light of the Moon, there's lots of shadowy corners, hidden recesses and nooks. You can't see everything. There's things there. Your subconscious, your deep sense of spirituality is stirring, but things are not always clear. You may not be able to see everything or know everything that's going on. Now, what clarifies that Moon is the Emperor, which is an Aries energy. Again, this other person that's significant to you could be an Aries, or it could just be somebody who's manifesting like the Emperor. This could be somebody older, of some status, seniority, position, somebody who may come across as a bit, on his challenging days, he might be a bit controlling, domineering, or rigid, which is kind of the fundamental basis of the Emperor. He has an entire empire to run, a collection of kingdoms. It's a huge job. There's millions of details. He has to delegate. He rules an empire in which, the planes, trains, buses, everything needs to run on schedule, or the infrastructure gets chaotic and crumbles. So he has to keep on top of everything. So it's about self-control, self-discipline, adherence to rules and the way things go to maintain order. In a business, this would be like a president and owner, a CEO, a VP. In a legal system, this would be a judge. Perhaps somebody older than you, of some position, status, and authority. He already has a long road of life behind him already, and he's probably quite well established in his own life, or even retired or semi-retired. And I feel like for those of you who are waiting on some kind of offer from this individual, romantic for some of you, maybe for others it might be from a boss or something of that sort, someone of some status and seniority in your life, I feel like there's a lack of clarity. Sometimes you feel like it's coming, sometimes you feel like it isn't. I feel like the Emperor himself is undecided and doesn't have the clarity he needs to make this offer just yet, or he's going back and forth, which is really interesting because that's not a typical attribute of the Emperor. He wouldn't have gotten to where he is, be able to run his empire with this energy. But particularly if this is love and romance, this Emperor may just be kind of a bit mind-boggled by this. He understands, the Emperor understands, one of the things that he fundamentally understands as Emperor is that everybody's watching him all the time. Every decision he makes impacts everyone in his empire. So he's very, very careful about the decisions that he makes because he understands the consequences and effects are long-lasting or even permanent, and not things that he can undo or easily undo. So I feel like this Emperor individual, whoever he is in your life, Libra, is himself not completely sure of the decision he makes, because if he makes this offer as the Emperor, this is going to set the stage for something for quite some time to come and not be able to be easily reversed. So he's undecided, and you may be feeling like you're in this state of limbo while you're waiting for it. Some of you, this might be on the other side of the story. You might be the one perhaps keeping this Emperor in a state of limbo, or this Emperor may have already extended this offer and you're not quite sure. So around the second week or so, middle of the month, we have the Knight of Swords and Judgment. Now it's interesting because Judgment is sitting next to the Emperor. The Emperor knows that every decision he makes will set things into motion he cannot go back and undo, which is fundamentally the air of finality about Judgment. Judgment usually represents, it usually comes up when there's a choice or a decision to be made. There's an air of finality about Judgment, meaning that what you set into motion, whatever you choose and decide, whatever path you decide to take, it's going to set the stage for quite some time to come. So choose carefully, choose wisely, because you won't be able to undo it, and you will be accountable for it. That's what being judged means. To be judged means to be called to account, to answer for your actions, your decisions. Not what you wished, wanted, hoped for, intended, but on what you actually do. And the Emperor knows this. So I think he's undecided because he wants to make sure that when he makes this decision or makes this offer or doesn't, whatever he chooses, it's going to be final. So that Judgment card clarified the Knight of Swords. So here's another knight coming in, which I feel also for many of you represents this Emperor. So here's this knight coming in. Now, all of the knights are known for being rather fast-moving than, say, civilians, because that's their whole point and purpose. Knights are about missions, quests, defense. They have a sense of honor, a code of ethics. They're all of them known for being, charging off to accomplish their mission and quest, and they can be somewhat fanatical and somewhat single-minded in doing so. Some are faster, like the Knight of Wands. Some are slower, like the Knight of Pentacles. But they all move faster than the average Joe. So here comes this other knight, Swords. News, information, because this is air energy, which rules the energy of the mind. News, information coming in. If he makes an offer, it might not be the most romantic offer, which might fit the Emperor as well too, because this would be an offer that would probably come in if it's a marriage proposal that might not be the most flowery, romantic of proposals or offers, like the Knight of Cups might come bearing flowers, roses, chocolate, balloons, that kind of thing. The Knight of Cups wouldn't do that. The Knight of Swords wouldn't do that because he's air energy, intellectual, analytical energy. It would be, so I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Yes or no? well, I don't know if it would be necessarily that way, but you understand what I'm saying. So, and he's also the most cautious, one of the most cautious of the knights, and perhaps the most defensive and guarded too. It's like he's making this offer, but there's still, somewhat defensive energy there I'm getting from this. And judgment clarifies him. So, the moon is next to the Knight of Swords. Do I make this offer? Do I not make this offer? Do I accept this offer? Do I not accept this offer? This offer, if I make this choice, this is going to pour the concrete. This is going to set the stage. I need to make the right choice. What is the right choice? So this is what I feel is kind of playing out at the end of February through the first half of March, centered around this Emperor individual. Again, depending on what side of the story you're on, it's a general reading, so it's going to resonate a little differently. Some of you may be waiting on this offer. Some of you, it's always while I'm doing a reading that something comes in like that. I beg your pardon. So some of you may be waiting on this Emperor. I think the majority of you are waiting on this offer coming in. I feel like you've been waiting for a long time. I feel like you've made your position clear, and I feel like if this doesn't come in soon, this is a situation you're going to walk away from. Some of you may be waiting on making this offer. Again, I feel the same thing. If you decide not to, I think this is a situation where the two of you are going to part ways, regardless of the nature of the relationship. Some of you may have already, I think a much smaller portion, may have already received this offer, and you're not sure whether to take it or not. You're still very undecided and unclear. It's an interesting reading. Still a bit fuzzy because we don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty and cloudiness here. So let's say, at least in the first half of March. So let's see what advice from Spirit is. Let's pull a final advice card. Another night, the third night. There's a lot of stuff coming in, I think, in March, but potentially slow moving. So here's another night, but he's powered by the element of earth, governed by the element of earth. That's the element which governs the suit of pentacles. So again, while all four of the knights are faster moving than the average person, the Knight of Pentacles is slower than his other three brother knights because he's governed by the element of earth. But he's also, so he's the slowest of all of the knights, but he's also the most solid, stable, reliable, sincere. He'll get the job done from beginning to end, and he won't miss anything or cut corners because he's not charging ahead like the Knight of Wands with fire, maybe prone to missing things and jumping right into the heat of the battle. He's not the Knight of Cups, which is very also fast, fluid, watery, emotional energy, or the Knight of Swords, which is very analytical and straight and blunt to the point. He's a little slower, but solid, steady, reliable. I feel for many of you who are waiting on this, that I think a lot of you are going to receive this offer. It is moving a little slowly. For those of you who have been considering whether to take an offer or not, or even while you're waiting for this offer, I've been waiting for a long time, but is this what I want? I feel like you will probably decide to take it, although the advice is to proceed slowly, cautiously. Don't rush ahead. Make sure to think very realistically and practically as you move forward. Again, I do feel like there's three knights here, so there's obviously movement. A lot of indecision, but I feel like for many of you, this is coming in and you are going to be moving forward. So it'll be interesting in a couple of weeks when we do the mid-month readings to see if this pops up again and how. Excuse me for sounding froggy. I'm still at the very tail end of that bronchial thing. I feel fine, but I still sound froggy. So Libra, this pretty much wraps up your March 2019, the 1st through the 15th. I will see you again in the middle of March to look at the remainder, the last 2 weeks of March. Again, if any of you are interested in a more personal one-on-one reading with me, please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be most happy to work with you and schedule a reading with you. You can get all that info and contact details by clicking on the description bar below or the little About button on my YouTube channel's homepage. I do lots of different types of reading in all the main areas of life. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. That link is also provided. And that app is good for quick answers to quick questions. So for the more complex issues or traditional readings, contact me and we will set something up for you. So Libra, I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the mid-month readings. Until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.